It was a long time.
It was a week and a day.
It was. Yeah, here's my back.
Oh, wait, we got to thank you, Terry. Thank you.
Chelsea Terry's new desk. Terry's new desk. Stone. Yeah. Good way to,
The meeting of the Shreveport City Council is now being called to order. Councilman Fleury will give the invocation, and Councilman Porter will lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
Let us pray. Our gracious Lord Jesus, we come to you today. We're gathered here to do the people's business. Lord, let us have patience, compassion. And we pray now, Lord, as we do the people's business, that we'll always ask for knowledge and wisdom. Go with us, guide us, and protect us. This great city. We pray for all the employees and the mayor, the staff, as they care about the people's business each day. Now we ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Councilman Bradford. Councilman Everson.
Here.
Councilman Jenkins. Councilman Porter.
Present.
Councilman Floyd.
Present.
Councilwoman Lynch. And Councilman Bowles.
Here.
Tomorrow, entertain a motion for the minutes of the administrative conference and the council meeting. Does any council member have any awards or recognition of distinguished guests at this time?
Just want to acknowledge, I see a group from the Holiday Inn at Lake Street that's here. I'm sure they may have something to add a little later, but I think we also have another update, I understand, or at least, we'll be discussing that, and I think some progress has been made, so that's good.
All right. Anyone else? Madam Mayor, you have any recognitions or awards at this time?
Not any recognition, Mr. Chairman, but I do want to say that I have asked staff to do an update on the hotel situation today. And if we can do that sometimes in the next few minutes, I'd appreciate that. We have done due diligence, and we do have an update, and we will just kind of tell you where we are and what we're trying to complete.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sounds great.
Ma'am. Mr. Green, would you come forward, please? Any member have any questions or concerns relative to property standards? Just want you to come up. Thank you, sir.
The problem is that we get such good regular updates that once we get to the council, it's
That's
kind
a
of
good point.
I don't have an
Good
extra
point.
question. I have already had my questions answered.
Very good. Yeah, that is excellent.
All right. Tomorrow we're required to hold a public hearing on Resolution 118 of 2018 and the 19 proposed budget ordinance. Mr. Crawford?
Yes, sir. On public hearing, this is number one resolution, 118 of 2018, a resolution stating that the City of Shreveport's endorsement of NIF LLC to participate in the benefits of Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Oh yeah, sure. Is this the appropriate time to have the presentation on the Lake Street? If so, I think we're ready to hear it.
Public hearing is tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, the public hearing is.
Right. Okay. We're on to 2019 proposed budget ordinances.
Let me ask a question, though. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like, is it, I think it's important that we get the update today
Sure.
before the public hearing, if the council is willing to do that.
I think I've heard indication back here that they are. Yeah, so I think we're.
Okay?
Yeah, it's not a public hearing. I think it just seems
No,
like the right time.
this is an update that I want
Just
to
a-
hear.
Yeah, well, we'd love,
Okay, Mr. Chairman?
unless somebody stop me if I'm speaking out of turn, but I think we're
Patrick,
ready
come on
if
up.
y'all are, if y'all
Okay.
are ready.
Yeah, it's on Lake Street.
Yeah, we've been speaking with UP, and we have made some progress. I think we updated you at the end of October. Mayor Tyler organized a conference call with a couple representatives from UP, and I recently got an update today. The gentleman that was a project manager for UP, he is no longer with the company, and the new man, his name is Mr. Woods. He's on vacation today, but he responded to me immediately, which is a breath of fresh air.
Much
quick
faster than you're
response.
become accustomed.
Yeah, and he told me that the design for the quad gate is complete, and when he gets back in the office tomorrow, he'll check on the cost estimate and the contract. That's going to be the next thing. You know, he'll get together the cost estimate and the contract, and get with the city and the Holiday Inn, and then we'll discuss from there.
Okay. The other thing I wanted you to let them know, and of course I've had hands-on this since we discovered that we were not getting any real communication from them when I came in. This was already ongoing when I came into office, but we did have conversation with FRA,
Yes, ma'am.
the Federal Railroad Agency, and we've submitted to them. Tell us about that.
There's a notice of intent that must be submitted on behalf of whoever is requesting the quiet zone, which is the city of Shreveport, for this situation. So that has been submitted to UP, the FRA, and KCS also has interest in this intersection with the track nearby. So that has been submitted to them, and that will kind of initiate the formal process of this happening.
So that would be something similar to like when we have to do a public notice of something, like in this situation, this is sort of starts the noticing period.
Right.
Is that
It's
how
a
I
it's a
understand
notice
it?
to the railroad operators.
Great.
And they're providing an opportunity to respond.
So this
to
is
the
just to
city.
make sure that kind of when it is ready to be contracted, we've already taken care of this. So
Correct.
this is sort of a preemptive thing. That's great news.
Absolutely. And, you know, and I do want to say, thank you, Mr. Furlong.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Thank
do
you.
want to say that this should have been done when you first closed it down. I'm just discovering some of these issues that we're still dealing with. That notice to go, you know, to go to the railroads, to ask them to look at the quiet zone, and should have been done then. But
Okay.
since it hadn't been done, they told me that this didn't hold up the process, but it should have been done then. I think we would have had more leverage had we done it back in, when was it, 2014, when you all passed?
2014.
If we had done it in 2014, we would be ahead of the game. But it wasn't done. And we didn't know about that until recently, when I made the call. So we've gotten that in. It was a lot of paperwork we had to do to submit to the railroad and companies. And so then they'll have to come out and rule on it. But I did want the council members to know that that had not been done. It should have been done in 2014.
Got it. Well, thank you for, I didn't realize that it could have been done earlier in that way, but I did get the update, and I appreciate it. As the council, I think I've spoken to most people. I was out of town during the last meeting, but I did hear about the update and was able to communicate and hear that there was going to be another update today, and that there had been some progress being made, and certainly want to express appreciation on behalf of those people on Lake Street. The various parties who want to see this move forward, and I think it's very important to everybody. What I'd like to do to allow some additional progress to keep taking place, since it sounds like we're finally
Yes.
making some progress
We
here,
are.
is I'll probably be offering a postponement again, another 30-day postponement to give us some more time to have this progress continue.
Right.
And hopefully it looks like we're going in the right direction.
We are.
So I'm
And
really
hopefully
thankful.
we'll have something in 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks we'll let you know if we've heard something.
Great. Well, thank y'all so much, and really glad to see this progress. And I know there's a group here today. I don't know if they had any additional comments, but certainly want to just express that my intention is to postpone taking any additional action in light of this progress that's being made. So.
Thank you.
Items to be adopted, Mr. Crawford.
Yes, sir. We're under consent agenda legislation. Mr. Chairman, items to be adopted. Resolution 128 authorizes Scott Wilmes of Lot 56 Suburban Acre Subdivision, Paxton Road, to make a connection to the City of Shreveport's water and sewer system.
Any question?
Is that, Mr. Floyd, that's your district, where Paxton Road, where's that?
If you know where Brookwood Baptist Church is, Councilman?
Brookwood, yes.
Right there at Burt Coons and I-49, directly across the street from Brookwood, the other service road that you see that runs parallel with I-49,
Okay,
that's Paxton Road.
Oh.
And right now it dead ends at a business. They're wanting to extend that water main to start another business back there.
so that's not in the city, is that?
No, it's not.
Okay, I know where it is, okay.
Mr. Crawford, please.
Yes, sir. We're under regular agenda legislation now. These are resolutions on second reading and final passage, or which require only one reading. Resolution 118, stating the city's Shreveport's endorsement of NITH LLC to participate in the benefits of the Louisiana Restoration Tax Abatement Program. This is for the property located at 1110 Sam R. Fertitta Drive. Resolution 125 authorizes a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Shreveport, Louisiana, and the Louisiana Department of Veteran Affairs relative to the maintenance and operations of veteran services offices established by LDVA pursuant to LARS 29-260 through 262 as amended and reenacted. Resolution 126 authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement between the City of Shreveport and Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, LLC, for the purposes of an external audit of the city for financial year January the 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2018. Resolution 127 amends Resolution Number 7 of 2018 to extend the expiration date prescribed in Section 16.3G of the Unified Development Code for the approval of the special use permit in zoning case number C-102-17 for property at 327 Kings Highway. And Resolution 129 authorizes the mayor to dedicate the 1800 block of Russell Road in honor of Reverend Clarence LaVar, C.L. Pennywell, Sr.
Any discussion?
On Resolution 127, I think we actually postponed that from 2 weeks ago. And wasn't there a court
We had-
proceeding that has happened?
Yes, sir. We had a court hearing on, the plaintiffs, or should I say the neighborhood parties filed a motion for summary judgment. The basis of the motion for summary judgment was to ask the court as a matter of law, did the council actually take appropriate action or action within the 90 days allowed under the UDC. If the court had ruled that the tie vote did not constitute action, then the application of Mr. Woods would have been denied as a matter of law. However, the court did rule that the advice of the city attorney's office was proper to the city council, that the 4-4 vote did constitute action, and it was a failure of the motion on by both parties. Therefore, there is a genuine issue of material fact, and the matter should proceed to a trial on whether or not the city council acted arbitrarily or capriciously. So that's the long answer to you need to postpone it to allow for that trial date to occur. Had they won the motion for summary judgment, it would have been dispositive at that time.
Councilman Bradford?
No, my inquiry was, similar to Councilman Corbin's, and, so they haven't set a trial date yet.
I don't think that there is a trial date set yet. I will find out for sure, and I can email you that.
No, but I mean,
before
but
tomorrow.
I think the fair thing to do is to allow that process to play out, and I'm gonna certainly suggest that we postpone until that that trial is heard, so we can give Mr. Woods the due diligence that he deserves. In addition, Mr. Chairman, 129, which is a street honor dedication, Dr. Pennywell. You saw the fact sheet on that. But Pennywell was pastor of my parent Baptist Church for 62 years. And the members and the residents of that area want to honor him with that distinction that we honor people with and that who serve in certain neighborhoods capacity. So I'm asking your support in bringing that honor to Pastor Pennywell. He passed away several years ago, but his presence linger on in that community. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, introduction of resolutions, Mr. Crawford.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Introductory resolutions not to be adopted prior to November the 27th, 2018. Resolution 130 authorizes the mayor to execute and accept of an act of donation between the City of Shreveport and Norris Ferry Road, LLC, hereinafter called owner and acting herein through William L. Mayfield, for the water and sewer improvements for St. Charles Place subdivision, unit number 16. And Resolution 31 authorizes the mayor to execute an acceptance of an act of donation between the City of Shreveport and Westlake Development, LLC, hereinafter called owner and acting herein through Steve Simon, manager for the street drainage, water and sewer improvements on Long Lake Estates, unit number 23.
Any discussion on that? Seeing none, introduction of ordinances.
Sir, introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 115 is to add a new chapter 37 to the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Unified Code of Ordinances relative to creating a local codified registry identifying the city officials authorized, certified, and designated districts, including but not limited to cultural districts, economic districts, special taxing districts, opportunity zones, and historical districts, as well as including historical landmark sites, and individually designed historical properties listed on the National Registry of Historic Places in the City of Shreveport, Louisiana. Ordinance 116 amends the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by establishing a General Historic Preservation Overlay District, General HPOD, for areas and properties as more fully identified and described herein, including properties within the boundaries of any nationally registered or historic place listing, historical districts, and to also include individual NRHP listed properties falling outside the boundaries of any NRHP listed historical district in the City of Shreveport, Louisiana. Ordinance 117 closes and abandons an alley in the Coulters subdivision of TAL 20, Shreveport in Section 37, T18 North, R14 West. And 118 amends the 2018 budget for the general fund. This is in Public Works. They'll be transferring $75,000 from contractual services to improvements in equipment to pay for the new My Government Online software.
All right. Any discussion?
Let me ask Councilman Everson, in regards to 116, did we?
So 116 is going to be introduced today. That one is still, I think, has that been heard yet by the MPC, Karen? Or I think they still have to do one more hearing of it. But it essentially just mimics what's already in the, it doesn't create any new historic districts. All it's doing is, because we're doing this now through zoning code, it's reflecting those areas that are in the historic, that already have historic protections defined. It's just describing those for the zoning map. So this isn't creating something new. It's not a particularly controversial part of the set of ordinances that we've been working on here. This one essentially is just making sure that it's included in the map. The initial part, by the way, that we've passed a portion. We have another portion to vote on.
She said that they've approved it.
Okay, so that one, so it's ready to move forward then, and it's.
But it's only for introduction stuff.
Yeah, it's still for introduction, but I mean, this is essentially just mirroring what's already there. It's that portion that we're voting on tomorrow, really, that has involved the most discussion and feedback from the neighborhoods, and it's an appropriate time, and I'll do it tomorrow as well, to thank Karen and Adam, Adam Bailey and Karen Strand have done some great outreach work, really, in addition to all the work that they've put in on this ordinance rewrite. But they really, I helped present it to a group of downtown property owners, and then they, presented it to a couple of other groups as well. And we've gotten some really good feedback. I've been very pleased with everyone I've talked to in these historic groups. Had some good questions, some good feedback. It's a lot of great things that have been incorporated into it, and I think we were ending up with a really strong ordinance that I feel really good about. So I want to thank them for the extra work that they've put in, because I know it at times has become a labor of love on their behalf, but they've done a great job.
So the Historic Reservation Commission, have they been?
I think we still have, I mean, I think there's still, from one or two members, probably still some apprehension. But, again, I think part of the difficulty in getting anything adopted has been this sort of tone of kind of being hesitant to take that first step, And so I think that there are a couple of members who may want to see a more broad application, like what we're doing is saying that these apply in these historic districts. And I think there is maybe a member or two who would like to see it apply to every property in Shreveport. But let's start where we know it works, and then give the opportunity for the citizens to add additional protections, but let it be citizen driven. And I think that's
modified throughout.
Yeah. More additions can be made over time. Changes can be had over time. I mean, this is a change right now, So this proves that this is not a permanent final process. This is something that, again, we are we were the last city to adopt something like this when we adopted it in 2012, the last major city in Louisiana, and so we didn't have a culture and a tradition of doing this that went back as far as some other cities did. And so, we've had to kind of feel out what's going to work here. And I think this is a great example of refining an ordinance that was a good start, but just didn't work the way we were hoping it would. And so this is a re-envisioning of that ordinance with the same principles and goals in mind, but just a different way to do it. And after, all the discussions that we've been having with those people who are involved with this type of work, and who would be, who would be involved in this, either regulated by it, that kind of thing. We're getting a lot more positive feedback on this, and so I feel really good about it.
And let me thank you as well, Councilman. You thank the NPC and the City Attorney's Office, but I also want to thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a labor of love for me, being that I live in a 120-year-old house, so I understand the need and also the challenges that come along with owning historic property. It's a personal thing, I think, too. So, but I love them. I love those buildings that give us a sense of character and place and tell the story of our city, over time. And I think this will help us capture that sense of identity, but also do it in a real practical way that's going to work for people. So.
Mr. Chairman, Councilman Everson has commented on ordinance number 87. An additional comment is that the agenda should have noted a public hearing for tomorrow on 87. We're doing an amended agenda now, and there will be a public hearing tomorrow, but at least it will be on the agenda for that.
So there will be two public hearings?
3. Yeah, budget is the second one.
Budget is at the end.
This would be the third one.
All right. Councilman Fleury?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Councilman Everson, in regards to ordinance 115, can you speak to, it says including but not limited, and what I'm, special taxing districts and opportunity zones. Now, is the Small St. Vincent considered a special taxing district?
It is what they call a tax incremental financing district. So
It would apply, this ordinance would apply to that.
It would not apply to that particular property because I don't believe it's in a historic district. If that property were in a historic district, then those protections would apply towards it.
Same way as what we have about 5 opportunity zones. I mean,
Ordinance.
There are.
Ordinance 115 is the register, and I think it will be included in the register.
All the different districts, yes.
But it's outside of a district. The particular property he mentioned is outside of a district, so it wouldn't be in there. But with respect to the opportunity zone question, yes, the downtown opportunity zone certainly has historic properties that are within that district. There are 4 other opportunity zones? Is it 5 in total? Or
Five in total.
or
Has
there's
it been
5
approved
total.
yet? They've been formalized yet?
They're on the LED website. So if it's not,
Those have been approved.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought they were waiting on one other piece before the
There's
tax implications of opportunity zones.
well, there are certainly some requests to reconsider a few things. I think that those had been already heard and.
No, I'm talking at the federal level.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't know
I
about
don't
that.
believe that the final document has been
It's been
released.
done for the opportunity.
You are correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
then I'm
But
pretty
but
sure
at the
that-
state
So,
level,
we may,
The
those
state
may
has.
be exist, but it's really immaterial for this discussion because the
Correct.
what makes the opportunity zone is not.
the federal policy.
Federal policy
But
is
the
not-
state acknowledgement of the defined opportunity
Two
zones
zones.
is all
Is
we
the
have to go
location.
off of now, and so that's what we're, it's been
Correct.
incorporated by name into here because the assumption is that it will continue forward, but, so it's better to have it than not
Yeah,
acknowledge
no,
it.
but I was saying the tax implications of the opportunity.
You're right,
zones,
yeah, you're right,
Which
you're right.
was a little bit of the nature of.
The final document's not been released, but anyway, so question being about the opportunity zones, certainly the downtown one. I don't believe the other ones have large amounts of historic property. They may have an individual property or two within them that may be included, but
Okay. So what you're telling me, opportunity zones come from the federal, that's how they just
Yeah,
begin, and
the
then I
pro-
guess the
the
mayor has some
process-
say on it?
the process is that the federal government created the program, and then what they did is ask the states to reach out to qualifying local governments
Okay.
and ask for those local governments to submit their requested opportunity zones, which the city of Shreveport did, and might I add, we had a pretty short deadline, but they turned them around, and they submitted, I think, 7 or 9.
7. We
Okay,
submitted 7, and 5 were approved.
and then the state selected 5.
Mhm.
So that's how that process works. And again, it's new, but so they have been selected for quite some time. I think we sent them in March or something.
We did, and I do have a letter from the governor saying that ours were approved.
Yeah.
The governor had to actually select from the state and submit. It went from his office to the federal level.
Yes.
But he submitted like 150, is what I recall, tracts to
So-
the federal government and sent me a letter saying they didn't think it was going to be a problem for them to be approved. But then the federal guidelines and all have not been
finalized.
finalized.
Yeah.
And so
That's-
we
that's
don't
the
think
thing.
it's going to be a problem, but I do have a letter that says we have been approved
Yeah.
statewide.
Yeah, we've done what we're supposed to do. The state's done what they're supposed to do. I think we're just waiting on the IRS at this point. So-
And I probably inferred too much because I thought the question was, hey, are we limiting the potential tax advantages of these opportunity zones
Yeah.
by virtue of putting this historic preservation deal on the top? And my point is, since they don't have really the tax piece of this deal 100% nailed down, I would almost say it's premature to make that assessment. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
But all we're doing here is making sure that these things are reflected on zoning maps so that it's, again, the master plan talks about the desire of citizens to have kind of a one-stop shop for business information. I mean, this is just making something cohesive so that it's easier for
And
people
it's
to
just the
find.
register. This doesn't place the zone.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right. Second reading and final passage.
Yep, ordinances on second reading and final passage. Ordinance 79, notifying Union Pacific and other interested parties that the city engineer and director of public works through the office of the mayor are authorizing to begin the process of reopening vehicular access to Lake Street from Commerce Street to Skyport Discovery Center, including reopening vehicular access to cross over the Lake Street Railroad grade crossing as specified herein. Ordinance 81, adding Article 6, needle exchange program to Chapter 50, miscellaneous offenses of the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Code of Ordinances relative to the authorization of a needle exchange program. Ordinance 87 amends various articles and sections of the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Unified Development Code and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Ordinance 89 is the first of several zoning cases. This is C-53-18, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the north side of Westbrook Coons Industrial Loop approximately 325 feet east of Southwood Drive, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from C3 General Commercial District to C4 Heavy Commercial District. Zoning case C-59-18 amends property rezoning located on the west side of Mansfield Road, approximately 790 feet north of Hollywood Avenue, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from C2 Corridor Commercial District to I-1 Light Industrial District. Zoning case C-61-18 rezones property located on the west side of the Airport Drive, approximately 2,800 feet south of Reverse Drive, Shreveport, Bossier Parish, Louisiana, from C4 Heavy Commercial District to I-2 Heavy Industrial District. Zoning case C-62-18 rezoning property located on the northwest corner of Burt Coons Industrial Loop and Southwood Drive, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R17 Single Family Residential District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. Ordinance 113 is zoning case C-71-18. This is property for rezoning located on the west side of Ellerby Road at Chickapin Drive intersection, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R17 Single Family Residential District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. And finally, Ordinance 114 is zoning case C-72-18 by rezoning property located on the west side of Ellerby Road at the intersection of Ellerby Gardens Boulevard, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from C1 Neighborhood Commercial District to C3 General Commercial District.
There's an amendment on ordinance 87 as well.
Are these kind of like, I mean, we got a heck of a lot of these. Is there like are these like cleanup things or properties that, I guess, Mr. Chair, can we bring a balance just so that, I mean, that's a heck of, I mean, that's more than our normal amount.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. That's a lot. That's what we asked him this morning.
And
I think he's spurring all of this movement in NPC with his aggressive.
And as Alan makes his way, I will just preface by saying, pretty soon here, I think we're going to have another large chunk of amendments that they were working on earlier in the year that they put on hold to kind of address
that's right.
some of the public demand for different amendments. And so they have another big block of amendments coming to us, I think, for our first meeting in December.
Alan's taking the wrong way.
yeah. I mean, there's something about not rushing up here, but I haven't seen him take full laps around there before.
Taking the
There he goes. There
Close
he
to
goes.
10,000
Veterans
steps
Day,
or what?
Veterans Day. Thank you for your service.
You needed to know about, these were just cleanup amendments like we've been doing, where there were things that needed to be readjusted, corrected throughout the process, and that's what these did. There was nothing dramatical in the ordinance or changing anything. I was just verifying that with Adam that that's what these were. Now,
I mean,
don't know if
because
can
it
make
looks like they're
effective
moving from C3, C4, or C4 to I1.
None of
or
those.
some-
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
Those were rezoning map amendments and restoration of zoning that had been removed as a result of the UDC.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, in reference to the author of 79 has agreed to postpone, is that right, Councilman Jefferson?
Yes.
81, I'm sorry?
Oh, I just mean to say I will be offering I'll be offering
Okay,
a postponement
yeah, 'cause I
of
really
the,
wants to see us.
probably a 30-day postponement, so that gives us one chance just to make sure that the progress is continuing, but yeah, I'll be offering a postponement on that.
I'm hoping that we can do it in a gentle way that the hotel residents don't be, and the operations don't be interrupted.
I agree, and also, I mean, it sounds like maybe if a little bit of this pressure had anything to do with the guy that's not there now and a new guy that's there, well, then that's good music to my ears, because we just weren't getting a response before, and it sounds like the new person seems to be much more responsive. And this is at UP, not at the hotel. The hotel's been cooperative the whole time. They've been very helpful in every respect, from what I understand. So it's really just been Union Pacific that sounds like they just didn't quite have the right person on the job, and maybe they've corrected that now. So.
In addition to the mayor's taking a very strong position and wanting to move this as well.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So on 81, Councilman, we had
Yeah, we had some
discussion.
questions from some council members on 81. I think we've been able to answer
That's
those.
what I'm saying.
And I think we're ready to move forward with that. Unless anybody has some final questions, the discussions that I've had with the individual council members, we've been able to answer everything, and I think we're ready to move forward. So we would ask everybody to vote yes for 81 tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Moving on. 112. Guess this way. Mr. Green?
We do have one property standards appeal, Mr. Chairman. It's a familiar one.
Right.
And it is also one where we are seeing some significant progress, finally. But took a little while to
Before the
see
rain
it
started.
happen, but thankfully it's finally happening.
I heard it was gonna rain, so I thought they better get a roof on.
I think you skipped table legislation. I'm sorry. You just may want to make a note for the record.
Yeah, none, we don't have any coming off the table that we're aware of.
All right, our case today is 219 Columbia. This is during the rain break. We managed to get some pictures in. They did manage to cut down some more trees around the property. The debris that was on the front of the property has been removed. That was out towards the street. They have not been able to exactly get under the house to start.
Is that because of the weather?
Yes.
So the update that I've gotten on this from been talking to neighbors and property standards and everybody else, like, they've been doing work on it. Sounds like they've got a loan out on it now. They're making, concerted, real efforts to get it done. The weather has not been conducive to finish the stable, the underneath foundation work. But even when they weren't able to do that, they didn't just do nothing. They have been out there doing additional work on the property. Now, consequently, also there is a group of people at one of our very wonderful philanthropic local churches who has a fund that is meant to acquire historic properties. And they are it's a new thing for them, and they're sort of trying to figure out some opportunities. And they have actually engaged in discussion with the owner of this house as well. So
Is this church I might know?
it is. You might
Okay.
know this program very well. and
Okay,
you
well, I
might
was just
be-
curious if there's two of these programs going
Yes,
right now.
no, this is certainly First Presbyterian,
Okay.
and so they are in discussions to see if there's a way that they can play a role or assist in seeing this situation through. So it's really encouraging because from a situation where there was really little to no response for a while to now have both an active response to what we're requesting and also sort of a plan B being worked on and or maybe an even better plan than what the minimum is a very encouraging outcome so far. So in light of that, I would really like to postpone this about 30 days because again, I don't want to drop it because they still got work to do. They still got a lot of work to do. But I do want to give them a little more time to do it in light of the progress that's being made.
Cool. One question. We made an initial postponement based, one of the criteria was to have a written contract with a contractor.
Mm-hmm.
Has that ever,
I believe.
Yeah, they brought that to
I believe it has
About
been
the
done.
last.
I mean, I think there may have been some, I think the last discussion was, we've been told, but we haven't seen it, is what I recollect on our
She had it
last.
last, I think she had it last meeting, right? She had it.
She brought the contract to council.
Yeah, at the last meeting.
Yeah.
At the last meeting? I may not have been here, so that's,
I thought that was an estimate, but have they pulled a permit?
Yes.
She did.
okay, good to go. That's all I want to make sure before. we
Y'all
postpone.
picking it too hard. You're picking it too hard.
Well, we do have some there. Like I said, there is they pulled permit. They actually pulled a permit before the last time, but they've pulled additional permits from what I understand, as well as secured, funding to really do the project, which really, you're not going to go through that step if you don't mean it. So I'm glad they're doing it. So yeah, I think that we're going to see continued progress. So I'm going to offer a 30-day extension.
Is 30 good enough with the weather and stuff? Or you just wanna keep
Well, I
monitoring
just want to
all
keep
the
a
time?
close eye on it because, you know, it has not had a great history of progress. So now we're getting progress right now, but I want to make sure we keep a close eye on it. So
Did we get a second?
I'll second it.
I think James initially did,
Okay.
but
Been moved by Councilman Everson and second by Councilman Fleury to postpone for 30 days. There's no-
December the 10th.
That would be December 10th.
thank you all very much.
And I'll just note that while it might sound like we're being picky,
She carries
this
the
is,
6 and
this has gone on for almost 2 years now.
Yeah, 4. Really?
Well, and I wanted
4,
to make
think.
sure
from
we
from
had-
initial
Progress
concerns to
sometimes
now.
slow.
Like, I mean, it may not have been under appeal for that long, but
The
you know.
wheels of government move slowly. Is that right?
Well,
Troy?
this is a good opportunity to remind everybody that, you know, sometimes when we find property standards frustrating, we have to keep in mind Louisiana has some very strict protections of property owners' rights. And so we have to work within the constitutional rights of our citizens. And those rights are strong sometimes, stronger than we may like sometimes. But this is something where we're going to see, hopefully, a good result. We're certainly seeing it in the near term.
All right, thank you. Are there any other appeals, Mr. Clerk?
No, I would bring to the council's attention that the second meeting in December would be on the 24th of December.
That'd be great.
And
Is it 7 p.m.? Can we postpone to 7 p.m.? Because I'm really not busy then.
so you may want to think about whether you want to have maybe one meeting, the second meeting in December, and if so, if it's going to be before Christmas or after Christmas. If you'd be thinking about that, and if you have any suggestions.
I think we did that either last year or year before. We combined everything into one meeting and skipped the administrative.
That's what we did, one meeting.
We did.
Okay.
We did.
You gonna come up with a date and help us out with that?
Unless somebody wants to volunteer.
But I mean, I guess, should we consider the 23rd, what day of the week is that? That's a
Sunday.
So we do it on Friday?
21st?
We could do it on Friday or Thursday.
Look like Thursday, because some people might be on Friday.
And I'm fine doing that. It's just, we need to take into consideration anything that
The
we
2-week
introduce
layover, you gotta run it to the next
before
meeting.
will not be votable.
Gotta run it to the next meeting, January.
It falls off the agenda at the end of the year.
True.
We had that problem last time, but
I mean, we
we
can play
didn't
around
have
it.
anything, there wasn't anything left to do anyways.
Meeting less than 2 weeks, then you gotta run it to the next meeting.
We just plan around it.
And also you got items that fall
I mean,
off
we
the
just
agenda.
plan
at the
around.
end of the year.
I should also, while we're looking at calendars, Sammy's going to remind everybody the soup lunch at Holy Cross is coming up.
Yeah, he already-
And that's going to, well, good, good. It'll be the 5th, 12th, and 19th, I
And all those
believe.
minutes
So.
that had to lay over for 2
Okay.
weeks. If it was shorter than 2 weeks, then you gotta cancel the next meeting.
But I do like
I
that
guess I'd like
Thursday.
to. No, I think the prudent thing in my mind would be to send out a letter that says if there's something you need a two-reader on, to put it as an introduction item on the last meeting in November, so then whatever that date is, you have enough time.
The CAO's here.
I'm saying a suggestion to the council staff. That would be the executive body. We are over here on the legislative side, and I am making a suggestion to the head of the legislative side. They can choose to honor or not honor it. I'm just trying to make it prudent.
So can we assume that the council is going to do it on the 20th, is going to have the meeting on December the 20th, based on your suggestion?
That sounds good to me.
I'm good with the 20th or 21st, and if people would prefer the 20th, then that's fine.
Is that good with administration?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll do that. And are there any reports from any officers, boards, or committees? Councilman Corbin?
Audit and
The
Finance
24th?
Committee needs to have a meeting, and we
Thursday.
will have that 1:30 on the 27th. That'll be before the next council meeting, immediately before the next council meeting,
On the 27th?
7th of Tuesday.
Okay.
Is that gonna be a long meeting?
Thursday.
No, I was talking about the council meeting.
27th of November.
November. The sure law.
You got some on, what's happening that week? Thanksgiving's the week before.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, don't confuse us, not the week.
Confused.
Okay.
At 1:30, okay.
1:30.
Anyone else? Councilman Fleury?
Are we in comments? Are we there yet?
For you? Yes,
This-
sir.
I want to, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to at this time recognize Chief Wolverton. Chief, Sunday, the fire department responded to a constituent of mine's house for Sunday afternoon about 12:30, 1 o'clock, with a snake in the house. And I tell you what, y'all did a great job. I never would have dreamed we'd been having a snake cold as it was Sunday, but it was, the people were just scared to death, and I just wanted you to know, I know you do many things, they call upon to do a lot of things, but boy, that snake, it had them all running up and down the street over there, and just wanted to commend y'all for reaching out and helping.
Any other council member?
I do have a, was there a clerk report? Did you skip that or you coming back to it, Mr. Fleur?
He said that was.
So what?
That was the clerk's report.
He
The date, the new date?
He gets paid by the word, so if he says it's 100 words, he's done. That didn't check it.
No, I was wondering, Mayor, is there anything you can share with the council regarding the email that, regarding the public safety issues? That we received something about the chief of police is gonna retire, and then, any time frame of addressing that?
Yes, I still haven't gotten anything in writing. I said that to all the media, and until I get that in writing, I don't want to move ahead and do something and then have to take it back. So I'm waiting on him to send me something in writing. I still haven't received a letter that he's retiring.
Okay.
I did call today to see where that letter was.
Okay.
And he promised that he would send me an email. He's done that, but there's some other documentation I need to get.
I see.
And so until I get that, I hate that all of that occurred from something that was said in a normal meeting that they have on a Friday, and I did not get a notice, any kind of statement.
Yeah.
And that's just the truth of the matter. I didn't get any kind of statement that, but he had his regular Friday meeting, and I think he told the folks that, but I still haven't gotten anything in writing. And so I haven't gotten a letter in writing that says I'm going to retire. Now, he did talk to me after I called him, but I'm waiting to get some documents on what it is that he's really going to do.
Well, man, that's in my field. If it ain't in writing, it didn't happen.
That's right, and that's in my opinion.
So,
Until we put it in writing.
Yeah. And I understand that. I just was wondering if you had any.
Yes, sir.
So we'll wait.
And maybe tomorrow I'll have something more definitive.
Yep.
I'm hoping, because I did make another call today.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Councilman Fleur, is that all?
Yes, sir, that's
All right.
All right.
Well, one question.
One question.
Sorry.
Formally, what time is our budget meeting scheduled to begin on Friday? 3 o'clock.
Thought it was 1. Okay.
And that's the reason I'm asking this question, because we had some, and then Saturday morning starts at 9? 8? Very well.
Would you send out the schedule?
I'm ready to keep going. I'm ready.
I'm doing 16 hours
To
a
say
day.
my days are a little numbered is an understatement.
Well, you're saying that, Councilman, but I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, I think we're gonna need some this time tomorrow. Because I got a feeling we're gonna be here for a minute.
That's all right, thanks.
Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, and this meeting is adjourned.
Appreciate that. Is she gonna come back or she's gonna come back?
I tell you, turn the news, like local, national, wherever. There's no good news anywhere anymore. I'm like, good Lord, could something
Can somebody do a good story?
There's no news.
Yeah,
There's no
I mean, I'm about ready to just stop
It's-
watching it.
It's me.
You know, I'm like,
She may.
I guess pretty soon.
She thought it was very good.